Hi, you're watching Teen Kids News. I'm Lila. This entire season, we're celebrating our 20th year. Let's begin with our top story. When you realize that there are almost 4,000 colleges in the U.S., figuring out which are the best ones for you can seem overwhelming. Ava gets some guidance from an expert.
And not just any expert. He's a former college admissions counselor and currently the editor-in-chief of the Princeton Review. He's Rob Franick, and he's here with us now. Rob, the Princeton Review has come up with 5 questions we should ask ourselves to help narrow down the list of potential schools. The first question is, what subjects would I like to study?
Of course, does the college offer majors and fields that actually interest you? So if you're interested in business or STEM, and let's just define what that acronym means for STEM: science, technology, engineering, and math fields, or maybe you're interested in the general liberal arts or humanities or arts and music. The list goes on from there. Make sure you're focused in deciding those are the things that you want to do and focus on the schools that actually offer those majors.
The second question has to do with the location. Where would I like to go to college?
Of course. Is that school going to be near home or not? Is it a few hours drive or thousands of miles by plane? Is a school that you're ultimately considering in a big town or a smaller town? What part of the country would you actually like to study and live in for 4 years' time?
Since schools come in all sizes, the next question should be, do I want a small college or a large university?
It is such an important question, considering the size and surrounding of the schools that you're going to be ultimately living at. That's the best question for you to ask. A large university will have both undergraduate as well as graduate students on campus, but a smaller liberal arts school can almost guarantee you small classes overall.
Always wanted to ask, why do they call it a liberal arts school? I assume it has nothing to do with one's personal politics, meaning conservative or liberal, right?
Right, you are. Let's define it. The term actually has nothing to do with politics. A liberal arts college is an institution offering undergraduate degrees in basically 4 areas: the arts, humanities, natural sciences, and the 4th, social sciences. So students graduate with a broad and general education in preparation to move on to a variety of careers. And that differs from a professional or a technical college that prepares students for careers in very specific areas.
Thanks. That helps. And it brings us to the next question we should explore. Who do I want to be in school with?
It's a super important question. Do I want to attend a college with people that are just like me, or do I want a different mix? What is going to be the campus culture of schools that ultimately made it onto my list? And this is something that I think we do really well at the Princeton Review. We have over 50 categories in specific ranking lists that give you information on all sorts of things. One of our lists is, do students lean to the left or right politically? Are they religious or are they not religious on campus? Those things and many others might be really important to deciding if that school is going to be a best fit for you.
And the last question is, what are the off-campus opportunities?
Absolutely, super important. What out-of-school, off-campus experiences are important to you? Those could be work-related, career-related, volunteering, travel, study abroad, and the list goes on from there. Will that college be pushing you along a pathway to actually fulfill your career upon graduation?
Okay, so I've asked and answered those 5 questions. It helped me narrow down the number of schools, but I still have a pretty long list of candidates. How many schools should we apply to?
It is a good question. According to our surveys, and actually many other surveys like it, students will apply to between 5 and 8 colleges. And we tell students to ensure that you are applying to a mix of different schools. Some dream schools, some financial safety schools that you and your family know that you can afford. Also, schools that you know that you're likely going to be admitted to based on your test scores and your GPA, and that you'll rise to the top of that heap applying to that school with other students. We publish all this information, of course, in our books at the Princeton Review and on our website as well.
Got it. Thanks, Rob.
You're welcome. Good to be here.
Here's something to keep in mind. If after you start attending the school you've chosen, you find you're not happy, you're not trapped. More than 1/3 of all students change schools during their college years. I hope that takes some of the pressure off. For Teen Kids News, I'm Ava.
We've got lots more coming up on Teen Kids News. So keep watching. We'll be right back.
The Vietnam Veterans Memorial is one of the most visited sites in Washington, D.C. It's also one of the most controversial. The memorial pays tribute to the American lives lost during the Vietnam War. It was a conflict that lasted 16 years, from 1959 to 1975. Troops fought to prevent the Northern Communists from taking over the South Vietnamese government. Millions of civilians were killed, as well as more than 58,000 members of the US military. It was the most unpopular war in US history. Like the war, its memorial would also cause controversy. To come up with a design for the memorial, a national competition was held. Sifting through more than 1,000 submissions, the committee made a surprising choice. The design submitted by a young architecture student at Yale University, Maya Lin. But not everyone liked Maya's design, because it was so unusual. Typically, memorials showed statues of people, like the Lincoln Memorial, or the memorial to soldiers who fought in the Korean War. A stark black wall adorned only with engraved names was very different. Critics said that the wall was too grim. So, over the years, two more traditional touches were added. The first was the three servicemen. It portrays soldiers in combat. Later, a second sculpture was unveiled. It honors the women who also served in the war, mostly as nurses. But it is the wall itself that attracts more than 3 million visitors a year. The sheer number of names is overpowering. They're in chronological order according to the date that person died, designated by a diamond, or when the person was declared missing in action, designated by a cross. When the memorial was dedicated in 1982, it listed 57,939 names. Since then, more than 300 names have been added, including the names of 8 female service members. Walking along the wall can be very emotional, especially for those who lost someone in this war. People come to find the name of a friend or loved one. Some make a tracing. Many leave something behind: flowers, photos, army items, or American flags. Though the granite wall got off to a rocky start, over the years, it has earned an honored place in the hearts of Americans. For Teen Kids News, I'm Sebastian.
We have to take a quick break, but don't go away because Teen Kids News will be right back. It's time for Make the Grade. Here's Christin with this week's advice.
Here's a way to improve your memory. Draw a picture. Researchers say we're more likely to remember something we've drawn than something we wrote down. For example, memorizing foreign vocabulary words. So for Spanish, in addition to writing that boy is niño, also draw a boy. Or to help remember that pomme is the French word for apple. Draw an apple. And you don't need to be an artist for this to work. Even a poor drawing will help you to remember. It's the act of drawing, not how good the picture is, that is, key. I'm Christin, here to help you make the grade.
It's been called the Mona Lisa of American coins. The 1913 Liberty Head nickel is worth millions. Why? Because it was not supposed to exist. Back in 1905, President Teddy Roosevelt felt that the designs on American coins needed to be improved. So, over the coming years, US coins were given facelifts. The nickel sporting the face of Lady Liberty was slated to be retired after 1912. It was supposed to be replaced with a new, Indian head nickel, the one with the buffalo on the reverse side. But to everyone's surprise, 5 Lady Liberties surfaced with the year 1913 stamped on them. Remember, 1912 was supposed to be the last year for minting Lady Liberty nickels. So how did these 5 coins come about? No one knows. The best theory is that an employee at the mint had the coins made, illegally. In any case, there are only 5 1913 Lady Liberties known to exist. 2 are now held by museums. The other 3 are in private collections. The Lady Liberty is the most valuable US nickel. If one ever surfaces in mint condition, it could be worth as much as $20 million. For Teen Kids News, I'm Benjamin.
It's simple. Seatbelts save lives. The National Road Safety Foundation wants to make sure you remember that every time you get into a car.
Grandma, when did people start using seatbelts?
Sweetheart, I'm pretty sure seatbelts have been around in most cars for more than 40 years.
Do seatbelts really save lives?
Yes, they certainly do. I just read that seatbelts save as many as 15,000 lives a year.
If my mommy and daddy had been wearing their seatbelts, would they have lived?
The NRSF produces lots of helpful videos. To see more of them and to find info on driving safely, be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to the National Road Safety Foundation.
Vincent Van Gogh was one of the most prolific artists in history. Though his life was short, only 37 years, he created 2,000 drawings, sketches, and paintings. Today, paintings by this Dutch impressionist sell for millions of dollars. In fact, of the 21 most expensive paintings ever sold at auction, 4 of them were done by Van Gogh. Ironically, during his lifetime, he was only able to sell just one of his paintings, this one, called The Red Vineyard. And that one was to a friend. With Art Smart, I'm William.
Still ahead, we look back. As part of our 20th anniversary of Teen Kids News, we'll stroll down memory lane with another former reporter. We'll be right back. Let's take another look back at the early days of Teen Kids News.
He was part of everyone's childhood. You probably still have his quirky rhymes stuck in your head. So we want to know, which Dr. Seuss book is your favorite?
I'm Sam. I was on Teen Kids News from the time I was 14 to 17 years old, and I covered a lot of the entertainment news. We really got to experience what real life reporters, adults get to do. So it was incredible. And I mean, it was just a bunch of, kids doing their homework between, getting to be on TV, which is kind of the coolest thing that you could ever hope for.
This isn't your mom's PB&J. I'll take you to a unique restaurant.
I'd say the most embarrassing moment was when I had to go sample different peanut butter sandwiches at the peanut butter company. And I had one that was, I think it was laced with pickles or bacon or both. And I just could not keep a straight face to pretend that it was as delicious as I should have been able to pretend it was. I have a lot of favorite memories from working on the show. I'd say probably the one that stands out the most in my mind will be when I was on the red carpet of the Harry Potter premiere, and I got to interview all of the stars, and especially Robert Pattinson, who was not Robert Pattinson back then, but he was about a year later, and all of my friends were quite impressed. Not to say that they weren't impressed by me being on the red carpet, the Harry Potter premiere. I also work in television. I work on the other side of television. I work on scripted TV. So I help create those shows from, the script until you see it on screen. I miss it incredibly. I would do anything to go back. It was a great time in my life, and it was a beautiful experience, and got to do so many things that I never would have dreamed I could do. Learned so much and had so many incredible opportunities, interviews, pieces I got to cover, and it was just too much fun, but work as well. It was the opportunity of a lifetime.
For Teen Kids News, I'm Sam.
It's time for another short break, but we'll be right back with more Teen Kids News. So stay with us.
Next time you make hard-boiled eggs, don't peel them the old-fashioned way. Try this instead. Once your eggs are boiled, typically about 12 minutes, pour out the hot water. Now add in cold water until all the eggs are covered. Be sure to wait until the cold water cools the pot so it's not hot to the touch. Pour out the water, cover with the lid, hold the lid tightly on the pot and shake back and forth. When you uncover the pot, you'll see that the eggs will have shed much of their shells. Whatever coverings still remain are easily removed. I hope you found this way of shelling hard-boiled eggs appealing. For Teen Kids News, I'm Katie.
Well, that wraps up our show for this week. But we'll be back with more Teen Kids News next week. See you then!